I'm a new subscriber, but I have been listening to Reddit's Let's Not Meet through various YouTube channels, so I thought I should share one of my many experiences with a Psycho X with you guys. So, my Psycho X stalker story happened on the west coast of the United States about 11 years ago. I was a 23-year-old female living in my very own apartment. I was single, working part time, and going to college, so I was more focused on getting my life together than dating. Valentine's Day was approaching, and of course, I didn't have a special someone in my life at the time. So a coworker of mine thought it'd be a good idea to hook me up with a single guy she knew, named Jack. Jack and I talked on the phone for a few days before meeting in person. When we eventually met, Jack brought flowers, candy, and immediately told me how attracted he was to me, even saying that I'm his girl now. It struck me as kind of an odd thing to say, as it was our first time meeting, but I thought he was really handsome. He was 6'1", I'm 5'3". He had a gorgeous smile and seemed really sweet, so I just brushed the oddness off. We hung out for a few weeks, and during that time, Jack started acting very strange and clingy. He was very quiet and liked to ask questions about me and told me a lot about his personal life, but besides a simple hi, he basically ignored and never spoke to any of my family or friends who came to visit often. He always wanted to occupy my time, wanted to know what I was doing all the time, and would get angry if I was busy or had other plans. He wasn't physically abusive, but really possessive. He even told me he loved me a month or so of knowing me, but I laughed it off thinking he was joking around. One night, he actually got on his knees to propose to me. I told him we only been knowing each other for a few months, and we should wait until we're both ready. And besides, he didn't even have a ring. He said he was ready to get married as soon as possible. We can go to the courthouse now, and he'll buy me a ring later. No thank you. If it's meant to be, we'll get married when the time comes. The very next week, he gets back on his knees proposing. Again. Still no ring. And saying he was ready now. At this point, I started to freak out. Not only was he clingy, but he was moving way too fast for me. I mean, we only been knowing each other for a few months. I was still busy with work and school, so I told him maybe we should take a break from hanging out for a while. He got this really weird look on his face and got really quiet, but eventually started smiling and agreed with me that we should take a break. A few days of not hearing from him, I came home to find him sitting on my staircase. I asked what he was doing there, and he just said, "Waiting for you," and smiled. After an awkward moment of silence, I told him he needed to go home. He got up and left, but then he started to randomly stop by my place. If I was there, I pretended not to be. He would knock for about 30 minutes, leave for a few minutes, and come back. He started waiting on my staircase for me to get home so much I had to hide at a neighbor's apartment and wait till he eventually left. He called my cell non-stop and I just ignored him. After a couple months of this, he just stopped all of a sudden. I was completely relieved like he finally got the point. About 3 months passed by. I got a call from an unfamiliar number. I answered, and it was Jack. He wanted to know how I was doing and wanted to see me. He also said he told his mother about me and she wanted to meet me too. I got super creeped out and upset, and I told him, no, lose my number and stop calling me. I guess he heard the opposite, because he started randomly knocking on my door again. He knocked on my door a couple of times, and each time I had a friend or family member tell him to leave and not come back, and each time he smiled and said, okay. The third time he came over was the last straw for me. I had my best friend tell him I wasn't there. I was, but was hiding. He asked her if he could wait for me inside my apartment until I got back. She told him no, and then he tried to push his way in. My friend called my name and I ran out to help her shut the door. Heart racing, I told him I was going to call the police if he didn't leave to never come back again. He mumbled something through the door, and then I could hear him walking down the stairs. I ended up not calling the police that night, but I regret that decision to this day. Jump forward about 5 or 6 months later. It was a bright, sunny Saturday afternoon. Two of my younger sisters, aged 17 and 14, were visiting. I was still laying in my bed because I had a major migraine. Since I lived alone, I had gotten used to leaving my bedroom door open so I could hear everything. I could hear them watching and talking about Vanilla Sky, the Tom Cruise movie. I could also hear kids laughing and playing outside. Nothing weird whatsoever. I took more aspirin, then dozed off again, but was awoken shortly by a loud BAM! At first I thought maybe a kid bounced a ball off my door or something, but then I heard it again, and my sister started yelling, "What the hell is that?" Just as I was about to get up to go see what was going on, BAM! I heard screaming, and then a man's voice yelling, "Get the fuck up!" I started to panic, so this part might sound kinda fucked up, but since I had no clue what was going on, who the person was, I slowly closed my door, blocked it with the dresser, sat on my floor in front of the dresser, and called 911. In my state of mind, I thought it would be better to get the police over ASAP instead of risking my life even further by running into an unknown situation. Maybe this intruder didn't know there was a third person there. Anyway, I told the operator someone had broken into my apartment and sounded like he was threatening my sisters and that the police needed to come quick. The operator asked me a lot of questions about how many or what the intruders looked like, but of course I couldn't say because I was still laying in my bed when it started. While I'm speaking with the 911 operator, I could hear a guy's voice asking, "Where's your sister? She doesn't know what I had to do for her. I love her." I heard more screams, and then I heard, "She's in the room." At that point, my heart started beating triple time. I don't know why they told this person where I was. Maybe just out of pure terror, or maybe getting me back for not coming out of my room to check on the situation. But next thing you know, my bedroom door is being kicked. Hard. So hard I actually thought I started sliding across the floor. The intruder stops kicking my door and says, "If you don't open the door right now, I'm killing everybody." I was so damn scared. Literally crying, begging, and asking the 911 operator where the police were at. The whole ordeal was only about 5 minutes, but in a situation like this, time slows way down, and it seemed like it went on for hours. I guess the intruder must have heard me talk to the 911 operator, because all of a sudden he stopped and took off running out the apartment. I was still on the phone, crying with the door shut, but one of my sisters knocked and said it was okay to come out now, because he was gone. I opened the door and said, "Who the fuck was he?" They said, "Jack." I couldn't believe it. In broad daylight, Jack kicked in my door with a sawed-off shotgun and threatened to kill my sisters and myself. The police ended up catching him about a week or so later. During this time, I found out through the police report that there was a previous incident that occurred with Jack a couple weeks before my incident. The police were called because someone was shooting a shotgun in the air. When the police arrived, they found Jack holding the gun. They asked why, and Jack said because someone broke into his apartment, stole his weed, and cut the tip of his tongue. Not kidding. The police just issued him a ticket. Anyway, I actually helped catch him by giving them one of his family members' address that I found in the phone book, and they caught him headed to their house. He confessed right there, but after he was arrested, he pleaded not guilty, but ended up taking a plea deal and only ended up serving 5 years. I moved to a different state after that. An even scarier part is I found out when he got released, he moved into a house literally down the street from my old apartment where he kicked my door in. 11 years have passed, and I still don't feel completely safe. I feel at any moment I could run into him randomly or hear my door being kicked in again. I keep moving constantly. I change my number every year. I carry pepper spray and tasers with me everywhere I go, and I never go to bed without checking if the doors and windows are locked tight. I still even put a chair under the doorknob before I go to sleep at night. So, to Jack who tried to kill me and my family, you're a piece of shit. I wish your psychotic ass would have rotten away in prison. I hope to never, ever, ever meet you again for the rest of my life. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the story. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Also, share the video with your friends and family, just in case they like scary stories too. It'll help spread me around a little bit more. Thanks guys. Peace.